Hi, welcome back, and I'm with Peter from Palentum, and Palentum is really about helping people get those choice in their careers, future-proofing their careers, and we've talked about some of the complexities coming forward, but the way you help people, I mean, what are some of the customers you've got, and what have you actually helped them achieve when they've run into these roadblocks?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Look, probably a good way to start is probably just explaining the situations of a couple of people I've met in recent times, just so that our audience can get an idea about the sort of problems they have and the problems they're facing. One of the issues that I've seen is, particularly with older job seekers, the government now expects us to be working to a 67 and a half, and etc. It's going to be going up, whatever it is. So the only problem is it's really difficult for older people to find work for a variety of reasons. There's certainly a discrimination that occurs out there. There's preconceived ideas about older workers, for example.
Yes.
Now, I had a situation a little while ago, a work health safety / HR manager, 67 years of age, very fit, very nimble, very sharp and very alert. And he worked with some great companies. He's done some wonderful things, but he's really struggled to find work at all. And he basically puts it down to his age. No. So now the thing is that he'd be a classic case of somebody who's got a great bunch of skill sets to be able to possibly consult with companies or work on a part-time or short-term basis. Now that is something that he would find ideal. He would love to be able to work on a part-time basis where he can go into a company, provide the knowledge and skills that he's acquired through decades of work and be able to apply it, help those companies. So that's a typical situation of someone who I would help. An alternative could be, say, a drafter and engineer, for example, who may who's become made redundant due to offshoring or a slow down in the commodities area. Okay, they may find it really difficult to find opportunities outside of the mining area. How can they apply, or how can they articulate their skill set in a way that companies will recognise their skills and values? For example,
when you talk about the first guy, like the 67-year-old, and he's still nimble, still wants to work, but there's a few people going, yeah, me, I'm that as well. Yeah. And what I liked when you were saying that, you said what his skill sets were, but then you started to distill it down that he could move in on short-term contracts for companies. Yeah. Is this where your brain set goes? And you go, okay, all right, let's have a look at the types of people or the roles that you can
I guess doing? Yeah, sure. A lot of people don't realise that there are opportunities or choices that are available to them. They don't realise, because they've done the same thing for a very long time, they don't actually realise how else they can market themselves or what other ways can they actually work. So part of that is to identify where are potential opportunities for them. How can they use their skill set? How could a company gain the greatest value from their skills that are available?
So a company, as you're saying then, in my mind spinning next, because I'm going, so you've got this small, medium-sized business that can't afford a full-time HR, occupational health guy, but hey, I can employ you for a set period of time. You can come in, you can be my off-site consultant.
Set all your policies and procedures up. You can even hire a team for you as well.
Because he'd obviously have the skill sets to select the right people for your company.
Yeah, exactly right. So, I mean, that's just one example of something that can happen. But, of course, that person is only going about applying for jobs that are available. That's not really the way to market himself.
No, because you say that, and all of I'm going, how many companies would be out there that would not realise they could get somebody in like that to help them out?
Exactly. That's exactly right, Mike. And quite a lot of times, interestingly, companies, it can take them a few iterations before they actually realise what it is that they really need. Quite a lot of times, companies are not exactly sure what their requirements are. They think they need something, and in actual fact, a good recruiter, that's where a good recruiter can come in, or even an HR specialist as well, can come in there and help a company to identify what their real needs are and plan their workforce or plan the key people that they need in their organisation.
And one thing, I suppose the question would come about, and I suppose it might be a bit of a curly one, but it's someone at 67 and people saying, yeah, but look at all these new technologies, how does a 67-year-old keep up with them? But what you're saying, he might not keep up with the actual physical technologies that your company requires, but he's in more the soft skills area, this guy. So his age doesn't really become a barrier.
Well, actually, interestingly, you've actually, so you're presenting a preconceived idea about an older person anyway. In actual fact, this person has been employed up to the age of 67, doing using technology anyway. So he's very much technically aware, and he has the soft skills as well. So, and this is one of the problems that we have, is that people have preconceived ideas about certain people in the workforce about what skills they have based upon their experiences or exposure.
So how do you overcome that? How do you teach him to overcome that? I mean, I did it, that obvious barrier. Is that what the coaching starts to get?
Yeah, it certainly helps those things. Look, we cover all areas, all the job search skills that they need. It's the way they present themselves, it's interview situations, it's researching the companies, we help them to identify what their niche is, we help people to identify and articulate what their special skill sets are, we help them to identify the right people, like companies and people in the companies to talk to as well. And also some of the more difficult things are, in the future, or even right now, building your professional connections is actually a key thing. It's a very important thing. And a lot of people are really challenged by that. They look at it as, does that mean I've got to network or talk to people or get outside my comfort zone? So we've got ways about being,
yes.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it is one of the things that you do need to do too.
Yeah.
However, we're able to overcome that in basically how we do it. We were able to use technology as well to lighten that blow and make things a lot easier for them to do that.
It's interesting because I went into that preconceived idea. I threw a couple of stereotypes and you'll quickly go, no. When you're talking to people, you mentioned something that piqued my ears. Being in business, you said about niching.
Yeah.
I'd never thought of someone who's going to be an employee even considering niching themselves or getting a specialist where they basically become the go-to person. If you want this, then you better get this guy.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people do think that way. Probably not everybody, of course. No. But some people do, and they probably don't really know how to go about it. How to actually do that, how to achieve that. And so we can help them to do that. We actually basically help people to manage their careers as well by doing that. So they don't have to worry about that so much. We can actually help to guide them.
Wow. So if someone comes to you, so he's come to you now and explained it to you, do you have a systemized way, apart from your general skill sets that you're very good at, but do you have a systemized way of taking them through so you tick all the boxes? Yeah,
absolutely. We've got a course specifically around that area, job search coaching or job search readiness as well. Basically, we run people through 10 sessions face-to-face where we go through all the areas. There's about 8 different strategies that we cover off on. And there's a bit of work that they need to do as well. So, there's things that they need to learn and research as well. So we take them through all those areas there, and at the other end, those people then ready to go and land themselves a job. And in fact, we've been successful 100% of the time. So all the people that I've gone through and coached have all found jobs.
100%. That tells me it works. When they get their jobs, is your warning to them going, don't forget that it's changing and you need to future-proof yourself?
Yeah, I think the whole process that we go through is actually identifying those sort of things. So it is something, I think people are a lot more aware.
Yes.
They're looking at their jobs completely differently going into those companies now. They're looking at what am I going to be able to talk about if I was to go looking for another job. What can I say about what I did that was a benefit to this company, or those sort of things. So
wow.
Yeah.
So when they're going there now, they're going with not only eyes down doing the work they're doing, but they've got their eyes open and
they're looking at their careers. They're looking at how the benefit they're bringing the company, how they can articulate that to their future. For their future contractor or employer, for example.
For the people that aren't getting career coaches right now and aren't doing these skills and learning these techniques of what do you see is going to happen to those people who are perhaps just wishing and hoping?
Yeah, well, wishing and hoping is no way of being able to manage your career, full stop. No. The way that we work is changing, and it's changing at a very fast pace, and the rate of change is increasing. The competition for jobs now is going to increase going into the future, and really it's not really an option. People will need to be able to learn these skills. People will need to get their management skills, their career management skills up to speed. That's the only way they're going to be able to find work in the future, quite honestly.
So it's not just a case of going to uni, getting the degree and going, well, actually we talked about that, didn't we, about people getting degrees and can't get a job.
Yeah, interestingly, just a little while ago, I read in one of the newspapers that for every graduate from university, for every job for a graduate coming out of university, there's 46 graduates. So it's very high. There's actually not many jobs available for graduates going into jobs.
So and then you get, in Australia, we've got a HECS bill then.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Look, it's not negating the value of going to university. That's obviously still a very important thing. But really, those graduates are really needing to learn how to find themselves a job, how to go about it, and how to present the skills that they've acquired as well.
Wow.
So we also help graduates too.
Isn't it? We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with a bit of a wrap up from Peter, so people listening and going, look, I want to manage my career, I want someone to help me. Career coaching is obviously coming into its forefront. Palintum's one of the leaders. We'll take a break and we'll come back with a bit of a wrap from Peter and how you can actually be the go-to person in your profession so you do get the choice in your career going forward.